welcome to Lakeside Barbecue Chats. So I get asked quite often, do I let my meat rest after I cook it? The simple answer is yes, I do. And here's why. I've gone through a minimum of 7+ hours to cook this piece of meat to get it to the point where I want. I want the perfect piece of meat if I'm going to put that much time and effort into cooking it. Because, quite frankly, I've actually wet aged the piece of meat, I've seasoned it, I've trimmed it, I may have injected it, and I've cooked it for 7+ hours, so why am I not going to let it rest before I serve it? So let's talk about what actually happens when we cook that piece of meat. So what's happening is we put that piece of meat onto the grill, onto your smoker, and all the fibers in the meat are pulling together and they're getting super, super tight. So once we get to the point where we're going to pull this thing off, I pull it off and I unwrap the foil and I let it air out. And what I mean by airing out is if I pull that piece of meat off the cooker, it is 200 degrees hot or hotter. So what I don't want to do is pull it off the grill and throw it right into my Cambro or my cooker, because if I do that, it's going to continue to cook. And by the time I go to do it, it's going to probably be 250+ degrees. This will be crumbling and falling apart. So I open up the foil, or if you're using paper, you open up the paper and let it air out for a little bit. I like to let it air out for about 15 minutes until I can run the back of my hand over top of the meat and not really feel any heat coming off. Now what that does for me is I know when I wrap that back up, it's not going to cook anymore, it's just going to relax. So when I put it in my Cambro or my cooler, I'm letting my larger pieces of meat, my pork and my brisket, rest for a minimum of 2 hours. If I'm in competition, it might go a little bit further, but at home I time everything to rest for about 2 hours. And you'll see this when the rest is finished. So you pull it out of the Cambro and it goes from a really tight piece of meat, it lays out, it becomes very flat, it becomes very soft, just like the barbecue that you're trying to create. So with my ribs, I'll let my ribs go for maybe an hour, not much longer than that. And my chicken, I don't let that rest at all, because once a piece of chicken is done, you're taking it off and you're either going to sauce it, set the sauce, or you're going to just outright put it onto a plate and eat it. But your brisket and your pork, it'll be a huge difference if you actually let it rest for 1 to 2 hours. We got some really great instructions on this, how to do it, how we do it, and a whole lot more over at Academy of Q. So come on over and check us out, and I'll see you there. Until next time, keep on smoking it.